We all know that time is probably the most important resource that we have in this life. And when we fail to put in place systems to make the most out of the time that we have, we also fail to reach our goals. That's why I've been thinking a lot about how I organize myself these past few years. And I've seen the difference that it made when I started taking control over my time. Alhamdulillah. So today, I'm going to show you a very easy way to do that for yourself using Google Calendar. And it doesn't matter whether you are a stay-at-home mom, a student, an entrepreneur, an employee, or a mix of all of these things. Wherever you are in your life, this is going to be beneficial, inshallah, because it's very simple. I'm going to be sharing my screen with you to show you the process that I've used to organize my time. And the first thing that I did was put down my repetitive tasks on paper or on Notion as I did. You can do that wherever you feel the more comfortable. And the way that I did it was that I thought about everything that I do on a daily, weekly, monthly, but also I've thought about the occasional events that I have in my life that are coming up, inshallah. So on your daily list of things that you accomplish, you might have your morning routine, revising if you're a student, for example, reading. Your list is going to be very individual to yourself, right? Weekly, same thing, is going to depend on what's going on in your life at the moment. I'm a student, an entrepreneur, a content creator, so as you can see, a lot of that is reflected in my weekly tasks. And then the monthly basics like budgeting, paying rent, maybe some team meetings and things like that. And then in occasional events, you'll have the things that will happen really rarely, but that you still need to remember. So, or even the holidays or the trips that you're planning on taking. So for me, I've put in fasting in there so that I don't forget to make up for my fast before next Ramadan. I'm also going to insert my exams, my holidays. And this way I know and I have an idea of where I will be and where I want to be in the next coming year, inshallah. So once you've done that, and by the way, this is potentially going to take a few days to do that. And even when you'll be done, you'll never actually be done with this list because life is constantly changing. There are things that are going to come into your life and things that are going to leave your life. So you're always going to be updating this list of things that you do repetitively, right? And that's completely normal. This list is never set in stone. But once you've done that and you have an idea of everything that's happening in your life, you're going to do what we call time blocking. The logic behind time blocking and what we call time blocking is basically grouping tasks that are similar in nature together so that you increase your productivity. Let me give you an example. So in my morning routine, there's actually way more than one activity. And I've grouped those activities together because I know that if I do them in the morning in that specific time and in that specific order, I'm going to maximize my well-being and also my productivity for the rest of the day. So for example, after my salah, I know that I'm going to recite my wird, I'm going to do my breath work, my meditation, and a bit of movement. This is time blocking for my morning routine. There's more than one steps to that activity. And doing that is very smart because there's a flow that's being created in the process of putting these activities one after the other. And that flow is good for my mental health, it's good for my spiritual health, it's good for my productivity throughout the day. So time blocking is really efficient in that case. Another example of that outside of the personal development sphere is when I time block looking at my entrepreneurial tasks, for example. So it'd be silly of me to take two tasks that have nothing together and to try to accomplish these two tasks in the same day because I'm going to take way more time trying to do that. I'll give you a concrete example. If I try to write my YouTube scripts, for example, the same day that I record my YouTube videos, I'm going to interrupt my writing flow by trying to record the video right after. And the problem with that is that the time that it takes to get ready for a YouTube video is going to be time that I could have used doing something else, like writing a bit more on something else, like my newsletter or my marketing content. Basically, every time that you start a new task, you have to think about how much time it takes you to actually get to that point where you're sitting and focused. And you want to avoid as much as possible interrupting that task or that momentum that you build when you get to that point of doing the task. And you want to put another task that's very similar to it right after it so that it doesn't take you a lot of effort to get out and do something else because you might get distracted in that process. So I know that when I'm writing, I'm allowed to look like a potato. I don't have to wear my hijab on. I don't have to worry about how I look. Therefore, after writing, I'm going to put all of the tasks that I know also allow me to be in that state of potato, like basically. But when I'm recording my YouTube videos, it'll be smarter of me to do that at a moment where I know that I'm also going to benefit from getting ready. So if I get ready for my YouTube videos and then I do other calls after, it's more logic, or I know that I'm going to go out on that day, it's more logic for me to maximize the time of preparation and use it for other things than just my YouTube videos. So we group activities that are similar to each other in nature so that we increase the productivity, we maximize the use of our time, and we avoid interrupting the flow that we create once we're sitting and doing something. So for me, my list of time blocking activities look like this. For you, it might be completely different. I know exactly which tasks are going to go in each category, and that's kind of where you want to get to. So all of these should fit in some of these time blocking. If it doesn't, it's not a big deal. Like you might be doing something completely different on a weekly basis, so it might be difficult for you to time block, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that you're never going to be productive, okay? This is just something that I've come to do and that has been really beneficial for me, alhamdulillah. Now, the next step is already to go and install our tasks and our time blocks in our Google Calendar. So if you're not familiar with Google Calendar, it's free. So let's start from the beginning here. If we go on Google, you know, at the top right on Google, you have access to other Google apps, and Google Calendar is just here, basically. So I'm going to be showing you a week in my January calendar because before I'm going to be traveling, so my calendar is not going to be accurate at all. So what I've done first is put in those time blocks at the top of each days. And as you can see, this is something that is repetitive. So I'm going to show you how to do that. The first thing that you want to do is click on a case, and then you're going to put the name of your time blocking situation here. And then you're going to type on the date. And as you can see, as I typed on the date, this rolled down, and I have to click all day for it to be at the top. And for it to repeat, you just have to go in, doesn't repeat weekly on a Monday, and save. And as you can see here, this writing is going to appear here and the weeks after. And you can also customize how many times you want something to get repeated, which is amazing. You have like a lot of options in the custom here. So it can stop after a certain amount of occurrences, or on a specific date. It can never end. It can be repeated on another day if you want it to. Google Calendar is quite amazing in terms of flexibility. You can even add people here that you want to invite to this event, and you can put a list of your specific tasks here, which I like doing actually, and I'll show you that on other places. So I'm going to delete this now because I don't need it. My writing is actually my marketing block. So I'm going to delete all of them by clicking this and the following events. And I'm going to show you how I organize, how I put a normal event in my calendar. So for example, here, I have my morning routine, something that repeats every Monday. I have an alarm, or rather a reminder 10 minutes before. And this is all of my studies. So when it comes to studying, obviously, I'm not flexible on this. I go to class. So this happens every week, whether I decide it or not, alhamdulillah. And then for the work session, as you can see in the description, I've inserted a list of things that I want to be doing in that work session. And that allows me to not get distracted and do what I'm supposed to do, because I tend to get distracted very easily. And if that's the case for you too, it would be good to maybe have a list here and even have someone who holds you accountable. So for example, on Tuesdays, I have sessions with my friend Aisha, and we hold each other accountable. We work together. We just get on Zoom, and she works on her side. I work on my side. The Zoom is just on. We don't actually talk to each other. We just catch up at the beginning and then at the end by telling each other what task we have going on that day. But to create a slot like this, it's very easy. You just have to do exactly the same thing. So for example, if I had write newsletter, for example, here, and I want that to be repeated every week, I'm going to choose weekly on Monday. At this time is okay for me. If I want to change the color, I'm going to go here and change the color. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I use on Google Calendar. And I love it. It's very simple. That's kind of all you need at first when you start. As you can see, my colors are not very appealing, and I didn't take a lot of time working on that. I know that a lot of girls on YouTube show tutorials of how they've put some beautiful pastel colors, and you can check those out, inshallah. Personally, I don't find it that big of a deal that the colors are not appealing. It doesn't matter to me, alhamdulillah, as long as I have a good idea of what I'm doing and when. That's it. That's pretty much everything that you need to do and to know in order to start organizing and planning your days a bit better. Now, I just want to give a bit of a tip or something to consider is the fact that ideally, your daily tasks will be connected to a big goal that you want to accomplish or a big purpose that you have in your life. And you would kind of reverse engineer the whole process by first thinking about your big purpose and then asking yourself, what do I need to do on a daily basis in order to achieve that purpose, that goal of mine, or to even achieve my divine purpose if we want to go deeper into spirituality for that as well. But I understand that not everyone, first of all, know what their purpose is, and not everyone is in a place where they can even think ahead and not worry about tomorrow first. I was in a place for a very long time where I was just on survival mode, and my priority was just to make it to the next day. So if that's you right now, this calendar technique will still work for you. But if you are in a good place, alhamdulillah, you might want to be thinking about your big goals, first of all, and then think about who do you need to be on a daily basis and what do you need to do in order to reach those goals. And that's the best way to think about it. And maybe I should do a video about that. Let me know in the comment section if you need help finding your purpose or kind of developing a vision. This is something that I talk a lot in my course, the Healed Sister Academy. And that's something that takes a lot of self-work, inner work. So if you are interested in joining the Healed Sister Academy, the doors are open at the moment, and I will be hosting a free webinar to take you through the framework that allowed me to be the person that I am today, alhamdulillah, someone who's content, who has found peace within her, and who loves herself, truly, really loves herself without having any resentment, anger, or pain holding her. Like I've healed my past in a way that I can't even express how grateful I am, alhamdulillah. And in the Healed Sister Academy, I teach my students how I did that. So I'll be holding a webinar on that topic very soon, inshallah. So make sure that you follow me on Instagram and that you keep on following the YouTube videos. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you've enjoyed and benefited from this video. And let me know how you're going to be using your Google Calendar, inshallah, in the comments below. Is it going to be for your studies? Is it going to be for just the house stuff, the daily house stuff? Is it going to be for your work? I'm excited to hear about you, inshallah. And I will see you in the next video. Ma salama, take care.